Hey folks, we're having some lunchtime design stream today. We're going to work on building variant facilities for Bastion Campaigns using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024 rules. Give me a moment here to check my signal, see how we're sitting, and then we'll get to work here for a couple hours. So if you're familiar with the channel, hold on, here's my volume, checking, check. If you're familiar with the channel, hold on, there we go, that sounds really good. All right, if you're familiar with the channel already, you can skip ahead a minute. I'll get through all my intro stuff, and we'll get to work by then. But if you're new to the channel and trapped here in space-time with me here now, I will introduce myself. Hold on. All right, so hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online, and we're creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been creating content on DMsGuild for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2018, I think is the first time one of my books published. And like I said, we're working on, we're revising the Bastion system that's in the 5e24 system. I had already been working on a similar guilds and kingdom settlement sort of resource system prior to the announcement of 2024 that I've been using at my home table for a year. And with the introduction of the Bastion system, it only took a few moments for me to be able to see that what they've provided for us in the DMG is a pretty good base model for us to bounce off of and expand on the ideas that we had already been testing. So let's see. That should be everything I need to get up and running. Clickety. Yeah, okay, there we go. And then let's fix our screen. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here down below, let's see. Playtest doc. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They're all free previews. Check them out. My Discord community is here, and Playtest document is here. Full playlist here of all 22 episodes, plus the prior construction model that we had been working on before Bastions came out. You can see the precursor for that as well. But here's the playtest document. It's a Google Doc. If let me get that straightened up there. There you go. So you can read, don't touch, but you're welcome to read along with me as we build. I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, let's see. This is the playtest document. This is the point where we're at. We're redesigning the facilities. In the DMG, the facilities are very limited on what they can provide. Like maybe roll a d6, and that's the kind of potion that like a pub can provide if you invest one of your orders into it. Or you can create a blank spell book if you order your scriptorum to create one of those. And those are okay as options, but it's a lot of game system for not a lot of benefits. So we want to expand what you're capable of doing with the Bastions and build campaign design around it. So we've already taken everything that's in the PHB and the DMG, and we've broken it down by its rarity based on magic items cost, the type of facility that you need to have in place, what sort of facilities you could have to be able to create these different things, and what kind of resources that what kind of materials it takes to create them. That also includes magic items that we've been going through. So right now we've got, let's see, let's scroll down to our list of facilities. We'll get past the, there's 7 types of orders that you can issue in Bastions, which is crafting, empowering, harvesting, maintaining, recruiting, research, and trade. So those are the 7 type of orders that you can issue to your Bastion. Depending on the rank of your Bastion will determine how many orders that you can issue to it at once. If one order takes longer than a week to complete, then that just stays basically reserved while it, like if you're making a Spelljammer ship, it might take 3 months to build it. So that order to create the Spelljamming ship, that locks that order for the duration of the crafting. And then as other things get done, they get added back into the hopper for you to then make a new order So if you have 3 orders and one of them is going to take 3 months, but the other 2 orders only take a week at a time, when those 2 weekly orders are completed each week, you can issue a new order. While the 3rd order is taking 3 months to complete, maybe you pick up another order that takes a month to complete. So now you've got something that's taking 3 months, 1 month, and then you have an open task next week. You order it again. There you go. You have resources that you gain as you increase the rank of your Bastion. And let's see, there you go. Resources, depending on what rank your Bastion is, which coincides with your character gaining proficiency modifiers. So 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. The rank of your Bastion, or the rank of your Bastion determines the value in gold for each resource that you have. And the number of resources that you have will dictate what rank of a Bastion you have. So if you only have a few resources invested into your shoe shop, each one of those resources is only going to be worth a couple hundred gold a piece. But by the time you've accumulated 4 resources, which you could buy, or you could earn through adventure, or you could take action, you could order your Bastion to invest in expansion to eventually be able to acquire more resources over time. Adventuring can get them fast. Gold can get them fast. Well, gold can get them fast. So if you have the cash on hand, you can just buy the resource, and there you go. An adventure often takes a week or less, so it's often that you'll be able to quickly acquire resources through adventuring, and then actually investing your resources into accumulating additional resources. That takes the longest, but it's passive. You don't actually have to be involved with it. So over time, your Bastion will eventually increase in its rank, assuming it stays in business, which is resolved with a maintain lifestyle D20 test. So everything in our D20 tests, it's a D20 plus your rank, plus the Bastion die that you can roll based on the maximum size of a die that you can roll is based on the rank of your Bastion. So like if I want to issue a trade order to acquire exotic materials for something, for instance, and I'm a 3rd rank Bastion, if I don't have any points invested, if I don't have any resources placed in trade, then it's just going to be a D20 plus 3. But I could have 1 point placed into trade resources like a trade house, an auction house, a storehouse facility, networking. These are different things I can invest my resources into, and every time I invest a point in, the order increases in rank, and it can't exceed the rank of your actual Bastion. So a 3rd rank Bastion could have 3 resources invested into trade. So when I make a trade test, I'll roll a D20 plus 3 plus a D8. If I only had 2 points invested into trade, I'd roll a D20 plus 3 plus D6 or D4, or if I don't have any points invested in trade, it would only just be a D20 plus 3. And you can see here that you're limited on how strong or how many orders you can get really good at. Like if you just became a 3rd rank Bastion, you can at best have 3 orders at 3rd rank. But you could obviously get up to 15 before you bump into the next rank. So you could have at that point up to, before you breach 5th rank as a Bastion, you could have up to 5 orders that are rolling D8s, but the other 2 would just be naked die rolls. So it's not until you get to super high levels that you can just continue to stack on points ad infinitum to be able to really compile. What you could do is you could split Bastions between different characters. So each character specializes in 1, 2, or maybe 3 different types of orders, and you can cluster them together like in the same settlement, or you can have them inside of the same structure but considered under different ownership, or like they suggest in the DMG. You can also spend points on boons that are granted through your through the different facilities, depending on what they are. And we'll be working on reimagining these facilities to create boons for your Bastion characters to benefit from, as well as locking down mechanically what can each facility provide for you as far as die rolls are concerned. So that's what we're working on today. Here's a list of goods which we'll need to reference. Actually, let's just drop down to the magic items, because because magic items is where we're going to have to pay the most attention to which sort of facility we have use of, and we'll eventually trim this list down. Like for scrolls, maybe having a scriptorum would be like a good thing to just have, just a scriptorum, just a library. Maybe like those are the two facilities that should be for scrolls, and maybe nothing else. So we kind of we cast our net broad in the beginning, and we'll tighten down how many facilities can build these things. Because as it is right now, like an arcane study can create virtually anything. A reliquary, a sacristy, they can create almost anything. So we want to limit the scope of what these different things can do. And we'll play with those ideas as we come along. So this is just our alpha draft model. We're building out ideas. You can see here, what we're currently playing with is the idea of exploring, grouping facilities into common spaces. So it wouldn't necessarily be like your bastion is X size and you can have a facility, and depending on the rank of that facility, it has to be a certain size. Instead, we're starting to look at reimagining it as you have spaces inside of your bastion, and you can dedicate that space to an order. Since there's only 7 different types of orders, then you only need 7 different types of spaces to execute those orders in. And as you invest more resources into performing that particular order, the size of space increases. And in those spaces, we can include more types of facilities. Because as long as you have 1 point in a facility, you can make use of all the things that are in that facility. It becomes like for example, the armory can make armaments, but it can't make magic wands, for instance. So if you want magical shields and weapons and armor, you'll want an armory, but you don't necessarily need an arcane study. But an arcane study could make wands. So it depends. But they both empower items with magic. So they would both count towards 2 ranks of empowering, but which types of facilities are inside of your crafting space would determine what kind of things that you can make. So, and then we have we have the table that breaks down all of the items in the DMG and PHB. Will provide a sorting spreadsheet as inside of the download when you download it from the DMG from the Dungeon Masters Guild. It will come with a sortable document that you can break down by item, materials, rarity, and facilities. So like if I have an armory and an arcane study, and I have empower in both of them, what are the kind of things I can build inside of that empowering space, right? That space I build to empower stuff. Anyway, that's the idea. So we're going to continue going through the different facilities to make sure we get them all done. We've gone through and we're down to smithies right now. So we're pretty far down the list. There's 29 in the DMG. I think we're up to 34 in this document, adding on like settlements wasn't in the DMG, but we established settlements as a sort of inverted facility where you invest in having that facility. Like a settlement wouldn't be inside of a space. Settlements create space to put your bastion inside of. So it's kind of an invert. So maybe it shouldn't be listed as a facility, but right now we're putting it here just for bookkeeping purposes to keep everything straight. But as we continue to progress, we'll figure out the best way to organize this and the best way to parse the information so it's easily digested, so that it just becomes a quick glance for you to know what it is that you need to do, like what facilities and what sort of resources and what rank do I need to be able to be to build this thing, or like attract a minotaur to guard my bastion inside a maze, for instance. Stuff like that. So we'll get to a point where all that stuff is easily digested, easily sorted, and easily maintained by the DMs and the players as just 2 to 6 die rolls per week is basically what it's going to break down to. Because when you make an order, you roll the check. If the check succeeds, the order will be executed as intended. If the die roll fails, a complication occurs. That will either require an additional order or resources to be spent to overcome the complication by the bastion without character participation, or it becomes an adventure seed, a plot hook for your characters to go on an adventure, that at the end of the adventure, the characters will have overcome the obstacle that's preventing the order from being achieved. So it becomes thus a Bastion campaign. You can build your campaign progressively as a progressively generated campaign on a weekly basis based on what die rolls your Bastion is making each week to maintain its lifestyle, to craft stuff, to recruit people, to gather information, to gather materials, or just a random event that occurs that is just automatically a spark of adventure. So those are the ideas. So Smithy, let's start here. One, 2. There we go. Smithy, 1, 2. There. Right. Smithy, let's go look at what does Smithy do. Smithy can craft and empower, typically weapons, armor, equipment like that. So I have a crafting space and I put a smithy in it. I have an empowering space and I have my smithy in there. Yeah, so it'd be a shared space. We'll get that. We'll figure it out. Let's see. We go to crafting 1 to 5 equals create non-magical items as listed above, because we go above to our big bad list of stuff. Like you get into we get into weapons. Most weapons can be anything that's made out of metal that's a weapon can be made in a smithy. Almost anything that can be made out of metal that's not too complicated in nature can be made in a smithy. If it starts to get too complicated or too expensive, then you need a workshop, which is like an advanced form of the smithy. And then we can empower. So my keyboard is being a little tilty right now. Hold on. There we go. Empower. Thank you, Timely Timer. Empower ranked 1 to 5, and again, the rank determines the value of material, the value of the item that you can create. So a mom and pop shoe shop, or a little blacksmith shop in the middle of nowhere with like a dad and their daughter working the forge, right? It's probably going to be unrealistic to ask them to make a 750 gold piece suit of full plate mail. You're probably we know the gold values for magic items by rarity is 100 gold for common, 400 for uncommon, 4,000 for rare, 40,000 for very rare, and 200,000 plus for legendary items. So if it costs 750 gold to purchase a set of full plate mail, and your first rank mom and pop blacksmith shop is typically only able to handle things of 100 gold pieces or less, that set of full plate armor is beyond their capability of producing. The complication that you would probably run into, that'd be the check on that would be a DC 20. So if you can hit the DC 20, you're able to make some progress on it, but you're going to have to continue to make updates every week, and you can only process about 100 gold pieces worth of content on a weekly basis. So it'll take 8 weeks, and anytime you fail that D20 test during that 8-week cycle, now it's going to be, you ran into a complication and you have to fix it. But if a third rank smithy that's capable of processing up to 4,000 gold, it would be able to make a single die roll, and at the end of that period of time, since you already passed a check and it's within their range, it's within their means to do it, it's just one die roll, and then at the end of the time, which could potentially just be a week-long period of time, it's completed, and hey, here's a set of full plate mail, no problems. So it works that way with magic items, it works that way with equipment, siege weapons, ships, structures, anything that you want to make. Empower is create magical items as listed above. So when we look at listed above, let's look at what magic items can be created with a smithy. Smithy. Armor. A ring. A rod. Weapons. Wondrous items, assuming they qualify. and armaments in general. So that, no, wait, smithy, that's not on there. No. Yeah, smithy, weapons, wondrous, rods, rings, and armor. Those are the type of magic items you can create in a smithy. Makes sense. You work with metal. And was there anything else that we needed out of there? Oh, yeah, any non-magical items that are listed as smithy. And there's a ton of stuff that's listed for smithies in here. Here's the first one that we can see. A portable ram. Yeah, that makes sense. You can make that in a smithy. A shovel. Sure, you can make that in a smithy. These all make sense. Hey, what's up, Francois? So crafting is pretty, the smithy is pretty simple. I don't think I need to dwell too much time on that one. Let's then move on to the spy network. Spy network is research and do we want trade maybe to be active in a spy network? Trading secrets. I mean, blackmail and private investigators. Yeah, it kind of makes your place into a PI place. So that would be maintaining. You can maintain with practically anything. That's kind of a misnomer, because like maintaining a lifestyle is virtually anything you can think of. Like I could think of ways that my spy network could make money to maintain a lifestyle from our shop. It's not a specific task. So I want to throttle back, or be conservative about what things I'm labeling as maintaining. Trading, yeah, maybe just research. This would be the only facility so far that only offers one sort of order to be able to process, though. So this versatile space thing, that's becoming the shared spaces that we were playing with. So I think I'm going to pull that out of there and put it here for now, just for reference sake. Spy. What if I call it a rumor mill instead? That's funny. No, that makes sense. So crafting, not necessarily. Empowering, no. Harvesting, no. Maintain is, I just said no. Recruiting. I don't think there's anything intrinsic about spy that, well, I mean, you have like informants and stuff like that, but I think that kind of falls into the idea of research in general already. Let's just leave it like that until we start seeing other ways in which it can be enhanced. So spy network. Let's drop down to here, and let's just grab this. One, two, good. We'll go here. Recruit. Research. Spy network. Would maybe we'll consider that, because the only thing this thing can do is, the only thing I can realistically see the spy network doing is gathering research about things that exist. But we could technically make that, like, does that need to be a facility, or can that just simply be a spy that we hire as a specialist, which is an expert? So the guild would be a spy, would be the Thieves Guild, which would include spies. I think that actually makes more sense. Yeah, we were talking about that, spreading propaganda, but I don't think, I'm having a hard time thinking that spy network should be its own thing. What if we reimagine the spy network as an aspect of the guild hall? Because the guild hall produces specialists that are capable of performing orders on their own without a facility on hand. Like a sage is a research expert. Just like a spy could be a research expert. A sage would be knowing information about stuff in the past, while a spy network would be knowing about things that are happening in the current. So maybe that's the way that we should be reimagining this. So maybe we should actually be thinking about different guilds and what they do. Guild and order. Let's play along this. Let's play along this path for a little bit. Let's go look at the. Adventurers, bakers, brewers, masons, craft. The order is craft, and the items for like the masons would be structures. Brewers would be craft and then booze. Bakers would be craft and food. Adventurers. What do we do with adventurers? Well, what are we supposed to do with adventurers? You send adventurers to track down a beast that has a challenge rating of 2 or lower. I guess that's recruit. I mean, that sounds kind of, let's see, recruits, items is, I don't know. Bakers, brewers, masons, what else you got? Shipbuilders. Craft, vehicles, Thieves Guild. That would be trade, perhaps. Trade, stolen goods. Sage would be research. Yeah, maybe I need to restructure it. Maybe I need to reconsider that. Let's remove specific items for now. Stolen goods. Then we have spy network. It would also be research. Nah, let's go with yeah, sure. Let's go with recruit. Adventurers, bakers, brewers, masons, because we want to include the things that are already in the DMG, so it remains compliant with the DMG, but explores past further into the ideas in the DMG. So everything you can do in the DMG, you could say you could do with this, but you can do more. So we're working on the but more. I guess this would be types of guilds. Different guilds. The guild hall attracts different types of specialists based on which orders the guild is has resources. In your guild hall. So if you have points put into recruiting, you can get adventurers. If you have points put into crafting, you can get bakers, brewers, masons, shipbuilders. Oh, and maybe we should have, like, maybe instead have what sort of facilities? Nah, the orders are good enough. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So, yeah, I think I'm okay with that. So we can drop Spy Network off as a separate, as its own thing. We don't need Spy Network to be its own room. In fact, it would make a lot of sense to not have a room devoted to spies specifically. Although there are like code rooms and stuff. That's anti-espionage stuff. That's good stuff. Let's see. So we got rid of that. And is there anything else that we need to trim as a result of that? I don't think so. I like that though. I think that makes sense. I think there's more space here to explore. Settlements allow you to expand your space. Guilds allow you to reduce or minimize your space. Specialists don't necessarily need as much room to practice their trade, practice their craft, trade, whatever. Let's see, stables. Harvest and trade. Harvest and trade. So harvest 1 to 5 equals produce animal materials for crafting and empowering. Trade 1 to 5 equals I know we have stuff about this. Let's go check out. Let's go check down below. Purchase, sell horses with or other work animals for the rank of the bastions listed below. Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. So trade equals purchase, sell horses. Acquire mounts, acquire animals. CR rank equals CR, and then you know what? I'm not aware of any kind of amount or animal that's CR 14 or greater, to be perfectly honest. So we don't necessarily need 5th rank. So there's nothing, I don't know of anything that would require a level 17 plus character to be able to tame an animal. Trade equals acquire, train, animals, rank equals CR. Dragons, no, dragons are intelligent. You can't. That would be a menagerie. You could attract a dragon through the menagerie, which is like the exotic form of stables. You can get anything in stables from menageries, but these are specifically acquire / train animals, rank equals CR. Acquire and train animals as mounts, rank equals CR. Like if it's an intelligent creature, you basically have to recruit it. If it's an unintelligent animal, you either capture it or trade to have it. Celestial mounts, that they don't necessarily, it scales by CR. So if a celestial horse might be a higher CR than a regular horse, but probably not by much. So like it could be that like a celestial horse might be less than a CR, might be CR1 or less, while a celestial horse might be CR2. So it'd be the difference between a first and second ranked stable. So like it's super simple. It's designed to be simple like that. Tyrannosaurs, other dinosaurs. Let's see. Let's go with a boon idea would be invest, gain advantage with animal handling for a specific breed of mount. That's an incomplete thought, but it's a perk that we can offer to it that's above and beyond the norm. Puppy duty. Oh, right on, man. Cheers to that. Stables. Yeah, I think that's good enough. That's enough for now. I think we can chew and develop that. Harvest equals produce animal material for crafting and empowering. This would be like sheep shearing, sheep alpaca shearing, cow milk, etc. So what's after that? Storehouse. Harvest, trade, and craft. Increase the rank of harvest, trade, and craft. We have comments about this. Increase the rank of harvest, trade, and craft. We have comments about this. Let's just grab that whole chunk of change. Bam. Trade one to fire equals acquire magical or non-magical items. Rank equals rarity. Common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. Harvest. there. Craft 1 to 5 equals have. How do I want to word this? Craft 1 to 5. It would be back. Have material. Provide material needed to craft non-magical to craft items. Harvest 1 to 5 equals wait for it. I could nick craft. Yeah, we can. Yeah, okay. We can leave it with craft. That's fine. Harvest, trade, and craft. So craft, we don't have a specific order to issue with crafting for storehouse, but trade equals acquire magical or non-magical items. And then harvest would be store materials for crafting and empowering. Trade is you get a complete item. Harvesting is you have the materials to create or empower that item yourself. And craft is here because doing these things lends itself towards crafting and empowering. So would I then include both crafting and empowering? No. Let's actually remove crafting here. This doesn't actually improve your ability. It doesn't actually improve your crafting skill check. It just provides the materials you need to do so. So, okay, that makes sense. Harvest 1 to 5. Store materials for crafting and empowering. Each material requires separate facilities and resources to store. Harvest 1 to 4 equals automatically have the materials needed for crafting and empowering. Each material requires separate space and resources to store. One to 5. 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Automatically have the materials needed for crafting and empowering items of equal rank to the let's word it like this. For crafting and empowering items, period. Each material requires separate space and resources to store. Ranks of material stored equals rank of craft or empower. For craft or empower orders of equal rank. There we go. That's the way to word that. This might actually be a perk or like a boon, not so much an order. Like if you have these things, I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to probably end up breaking down between orders and boons. Orders are things that they're actively doing. Boons are things that you just get because you have the facility that don't require an order to be issued, but are tying up your resources nonetheless. So we're tying up resources or we're issuing orders. Like researching something is an order. Crafting empowering a new magic item, that is an order. But like gaining advantage when you perform research in your scriptorum is not an order per se. It's a boon for being in your scriptorum. So like those three things you can, yeah, you could craft an item, you can make a scroll, you could craft paper, you can make a scroll, and you could research while you're there. Like, that's a difference between them. So I think as we go through here, we'll start seeing where the verbs and the nouns are inside of these things more easily, and be able to parse the information that way. For now, we're just trying to group everything together and get the language down, so we know how things are being divided up. So, teleportation circle. I know we have that down here, so let's just go fetch it. What is it? What is the teleportation circle up here, actually? Is it recruit? It's recruit up here. Recruit and trade. Interesting. Recruit, trade, increase rank in one order. Prereq, third rank. Let's see. Third rank, recruit specialist, creature. Huh. I don't think this is interesting because I don't see, like, it's just a teleportation circle. It's basically a vehicle, right? So the idea there would be this doesn't actually have an order that would be issued. It would just be boons. You could increase your rank in recruit and trade as a result of it, because you can certainly move materials and fetch people quickly with it. Recruit and trade. But boon. Teleport once per day. I don't see it. What's up? Masterwork items is another. Masterwork. Oh, is Masterwork, is there a reference for that? Masterwork items, is that in the PH or in the DMG? They are technically non-magical items, but they increase in cost, I think. Let's go find that real quick, because I think that gets resolved under the non-magical item already. Because if it's non-magical, it's a higher level quality, so it costs more and gives you a benefit for it. Maybe that's how that works. Let's look at master. PHP maybe. Oh, no, actually, in the 5e24 rules, all you need is a plan. You need a recipe. They call them plans, but you need a recipe to be able to create a magic item. It can be any magic item as long as you have the recipe. And the DM decides the item. I mean, you could decide that it has to be a masterwork item of a certain value to be able to enchant, but technically it can be anything with DM's approval. So that is, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's a necessary add. Teleport once per day, and boon equals increase number of Bastion events by 1. Boon equals gain advantage on D20 on Bastion on trade and recruit tests. And boons could either be, geez, because that's like 3 boons. Like I like all 3 of those things. But so the question would be like, would these each require 1 point of resource? Like you spend 1 resource just to get the teleportation circle, which means that you automatically gain 1 rank in either recruiting or trade. That's the benefit that you get for the description of the teleportation circle. It requires 3rd rank to have it, but it still only requires 1 resource to have it. So then the question is, do we provide boons for free, or do we provide boons for additional points spent, resources spent? Because you only have so many resources per rank. Like you could have a 3rd rank Bastion with 9 points, and all it is a teleportation waste station. All you do is teleportation stuff out of it. It's its own standalone Bastion that maintains its own, that has to maintain a lifestyle, that requires the die roll, but otherwise it's just a structure with a teleportation circle in it. So it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be a grandiose affair. But if it was but it has to be 3rd rank to have it. So it would be a 3rd rank Bastion, which would have a minimum of 9 points, only 1 of which needs to be spent on the teleportation circle itself, which will grant you a 1 point in recruit or trade. You could spend 6 points to take recruit and trade up to 3 and 3 each for a total of 6 points spent specifically on your teleportation circle, which makes it a pretty grand teleportation circle. And then it feels like teleport once per day should be something that you just get for free. And so that implies that if you invest in a facility, not only do you gain 1 rank in the order of your choice, but you also gain a boon, which would mean that every single facility will need at least 1 boon that you get that's appropriate to be provided for free. Or we could just be that you get the 1 point for the teleportation circle, and it's a teleportation circle in name only, and then you have to put resources into it, 1 point each, to be able to teleport once a day, to be able to increase your Bastion events, to be able to gain maybe the Bastion events would maybe increased number of Bastion events by 1 would be like the free it'd be the free boon. And because teleport is you still have to cast teleportation with a teleportation circle. It's just teleportation circle is a destination. So you can teleport to a teleportation circle. So spending a point to be able to use to be able to teleport out of it would make sense. And then having a point invested to gain advantage on trade and recruit tests, that also makes sense to be a point. So let's maybe we have free boon, and then we have one boon and one boon. So it costs one resource to gain advantage on trade and recruit tests, and one boon to teleport once per day. That gain advantage on trade and recruit tests, that would make life really easy. That feels like it's too cheap. So like I'd want to make that like 2 resource. So I could have, if I were to max out my circle at let's say at 3rd rank, it'd have 3 on recruit, 3 on trade, 1 on teleport, and 2 on resource on the advantage on trade. That would literally be 9 resources spent specifically on a teleportation circle facility. Like your entire bastion is dedicated to being a way station for teleportation circles. That actually kind of makes sense. Okay, let's go with that for now. Let's use this as a base idea. Again, being able to invest into into franchising. So you put a point into other facilities to expand their ability. Like if you're building your bastion into a franchise headquarters in your 3rd rank, you have 9 points. You could put you could have like 8 points put into 4 different bastions that are each 2nd rank, each of which would have up to 8 points of resources themselves. So your franchise headquarters could oversee a smithy, could oversee an armory, could oversee a workshop, could oversee a laboratory, all as separate bastions themselves in a complex that's overseen by the central headquarters, which is the franchise headquarters. And the franchise headquarters would then be able to use its 9th point, since it's 3rd rank, to put that last point into like a settlement. So now you have a property where the headquarters and these 4 different facilities are at. But if any of those facilities become 3rd rank, they are now equal in power to their owner. So they end up however many points they need to tear off to drop the facility back down to 2nd rank or lower. However many points you lose creates a rival bastion or a rival organization that might be friendly, but is competing against your own facilities. So it becomes a rival. That's the idea behind that there. It's still fleshing it out, but it's like creating enemies for your bastion, for your characters to leverage against. But I think that's okay. I like that idea. Let's let that stick for now. All right, let's move on to the next one. We're almost done with all this business. So only got 4 to go. We'll get those done today for sure. Stand up for a second. Sit back down. I've got a fire burning in the background, and I had a window open to make sure I had airflow so I didn't overheat. But now the window is colder than the fire. I'm going to put some more wood on my fire. Hold on real quick. I'll be right back. I've got a fire right over here. There we go. Get some crackling in the background. There's my fire in the background. Let's see. Teleportation circle. Theater. That's where we're at. I know we have stuff for the theater back down here. So Let's just grab up all this business. Maintain feels more and more like a cop-out stat. Maintain feels more and more like a wrong one. There you go. You can create a performance to praise the gods or whatever. Compose a performance, direct the performance, perform in the performance. Equals gain inspiration for upcoming adventure or bastion orders. Characters can participate, gain a number of inspiration points equal to the difficulty rolled during the adventure. Bastion gains inspiration points to spend on order issues, no duration. New performances replace any unspent inspiration points. DC points, duration of the task. From the DMG, it's you do a 21-day performance, and at the end of those 21 days, you get one single bardic die, bard inspiration die. It's fucking horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So I wanted to do something like this to improve that, but I'm not necessarily sure this is the way to do it. Increase rank in one order, empower and maintain. You can create a performance to praise the gods or whatever. Gain inspiration for upcoming adventures or bastion orders by participate in performance to I can see the logic on it. Bards do performance stuff. Bards grant inspiration die. If you participate in a performance with the bard, you're having those inspiration dice transferred to you for future usage. I like that idea. I like that idea. You can create a performance to praise the gods or whatever. Compose a performance. Choose whatever. Choose a role. Bastion gains inspiration points to determine new performances. This feels awful lot like a boon. You must. Oops. Spend one resource one plus resource boon equals characters that participate gain a number of inspiration points equal to the difficulty rolled before the adventure. Nip that. Each point of inspiration requires 1 resource that is recovered after the inspiration is spent. I actually use this in my Eberron Spelljammer campaign. They take again every time every Bastion turn they mine asteroids for virtual currency or resources that they pump back into their guild, into their mining operation, which they can use to, they can spend resources to expand their territories, basically acquiring additional settlements in this language, as well as like using the order to harvest ore from the asteroids. They have one, and then so they each settlement has each plot, like it's a 10,000 miles. Here, I'll show you. It's quicker if I just pull up the map. You gonna work there, buddy? I think my Photoshop is sick. Okay, here's a rough map, or a simple map of the asteroid belt. This is where Eberron's at. Each square is 10,000 miles. So Eberron is a 8,000 mile planet, so it sits inside of one square. This is the near orbit around it, where we call hub, which is where all the smelt facilities, embassies, and orbital cities are. A way station between surface and the actual asteroid belts. So in the campaign itself, characters never actually visit the planet. The entire campaign takes place in space. If we were to, we could build the campaign different so that we could, like, landfall and then interact on the planet, but it's staying focused specifically on Spelljammer type activities. So we limit the scope of the campaign to the asteroid belt, from hub to the outer range of the asteroid belt and back. This is Aranel, where the elves are at. This is Dargoon, where the greenskins are at. This is Sarlona, where the Dalcor dreams are at. And this is Droam, where the Medusa and gargoyles and the monstrous races are at. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and they will now actually be acquiring. Actually, let's do that while I'm here. They just acquired a new territory this last session. They spent 4 points to get I. So hold on real fast. Let's see if I can find where that's at. I. Where are you guys? Team guild territory and factions. Where's my screen? There we go. Good. I should organize this better. Almost there. Stand target. Hold on. So it costs 1 point for the nearest orbit to hub. It costs 4 resources for the second, 9, 16, 25, 25, etc. So it's really expensive. They only gained 4 resources this last Bastion turn, and they spent 4 of them on area I so that they could take control of that as an additional area to mine in the future. I can hit save here now. Each square is a 10,000 mile plot of orbit. It's a geostationary orbit around the planet. The asteroids themselves rotate around until they swirl in and they crash into the planet. So the characters are contracted to try to drop each asteroid down to 0% volume left, so that it basically gets broken up and destroyed, so it doesn't planet fall and kill anybody. So when they're going on delves and they get these they get their resources, whenever they send out a new adventuring team, they have the option of spending their resources to not only expand their territories and their bastion, but to also kit their characters. So like they can pick up like a common magic item for 1 point. That can be that basically, like if they want boots of Elvenkind, for example, those are uncommon items. So it costs them 2 points for everybody on the team to have boots of Elvenkind. To get a magic item, they have to research it. So it ties up their research and development orders to be able to issue those, and however long it takes for them to build it. At the end of that duration, those magic items get added to their inventory as things that they can then use in their adventure. And one of the things they can use is like get healing potions so that they can chug those. But they also have inspiration. So if they spend they're effectively second rank, like 7th level characters, second rank. They can if they spend 2 of their resources on their next mission, every session each player gets 2 inspiration dice that they can spend to reroll any dice that they want. And they use them a lot because the way that the system works, when they're playing as characters, when they're making ability checks, if they fail their die roll, they get a complication. They get harmed or get damaged by something, or their position gets revealed. There's a number of different ways that they can get screwed over if they fail an ability check. And almost everything is done with basically with ability checks. So if they fail their ability check, they start to get screwed over. So they are hungry for inspiration dice. Like as soon as they complete a Bastion round and they get their new collection of resources to spend, they just right off the top just set 2 of them aside. And because they're only second ranked, they can only have 2 at a time. But they immediately set those 2 points aside, and they immediately set a point aside to get access to healing potions. And then from there, it's like, are there like extra scrolls that we want, or any kind of they now have boots of Elvenkind, so they can stealth around easily. Is this a stealth mission? Do we really want to spend a point of resources on there? If you've played XCOM, it's the campaign basically runs the same way. Whenever you have a mission, and there's a mission each week, and the mission changes episodically. So this week we're going to raid a Droam data center so that we can find out information about like how do they keep finding where our military forces are hidden? How do they keep ambushing us? There has to be a spy someplace. So let's have an espionage mission to go in and try to find out if we can find where the mole is at, or how they're being able to search us, how they're able to know our moves that way. That becomes an espionage mission. And so they might choose to equip their characters with boots of Elvenkind, as opposed to if we're just going to do like, if they're going to play a pilots in a fighter squadron fighting space pirates, boots of Elvenkind aren't going to help them because they're in 40-foot Veritech fighter ships. So they don't need boots of Elvenkind right now, but they want repair drones on their ships. So as they take damage, they can have their little autonomes crawl around and start repairing stuff on their ships like R2-D2 does, while they're in combat and fighting stuff, or exploring the asteroids that they're trying to find, like the enemy base inside of and stuff. So, but long story short, the inspiration point, I've been using inspiration points this way for a year, and fuck, it is a fantastic solution, because you can really, really push characters into like, you can, especially if you telegraph to them, like the difficulty of this is going to be like a DC 16. And like, well, shit, I only got like a +3 on my die roll on this one, so I'm probably going to need to burn inspiration on it. It's like they really sweat over when they use their inspiration points, and they're always hungry to get more. It's great. 5 by 5. Hell yeah, man. 9 and 5 EM aware, but to make magic items requires a master. Yeah. Third edition, it did. You're absolutely right. Hey, what is up, Defecting? And Steve, it's good to see you, my guys. So yeah, the theater. So I think the idea behind that then is that you're basically doing a bardic sort of performance. So in the theater, you get bardic inspiration dice. So the way that we're framing it is, if you have a theater, you can use it to increase empowerment or maintain those orders. So you can roll higher die rolls whenever you're making an empower or maintain check. You know, that empower doesn't feel quite right. That's the way that they frame it in the DMG. So I'm going to leave it that way for now until we think of something better. But basically, empowering is whenever you're enhancing an item, like a magic item, or in yourself, like fortifying yourself with temporary hit points, or in this case, inspiration dice, or like in the meditation chamber, you can invest points so that your characters can gain proficiency in a saving throw that they normally wouldn't have proficiency in. As long as you're maintaining, as long as you're tapping those resources and maintaining them through your adventure, your characters continue to have those benefits. And when you finish that adventure, you go back home, maybe we don't need extra stat boosts on our saving throws for the next thing that we're going to do. So we can release those points back into our general pool to then apply someplace else on their next adventure. So you can kind of kit out your characters with buffs, boons, and equipment as you go through the game, depending on what your Bastion facility is capable of producing. You're talking about the towers. Here, I'll show you that, Ro. Since you're asking, and it's something I get to brag about. That's actually in the Color Mana Spell Point variant rule system that I have on the DMsGuild. I replaced this series of books. Provides you different ways to change your characters from using spell slots in the Vancian spell magic system and the 8 schools of magic to instead use the Magic the Gathering color mana system. And that illustration came from the Core Mechanics book. And all my books are free preview. I need to rebuild these for the 2024 rules because I've been using these rules for like 7 years now, and they're fucking fantastic, but we've expanded on them. So if we go all the way down to the end of the book, here we go. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here you go. This is just one of the illustrations in the book to fill up some space. This is the original version of the book. Was each spell was devoted to one color of mana from the Magic the Gathering system. And so when I made the book, I had a lot of empty spaces that I just filled up with just random illustrations. So this was just different towers that would be either in the Undercity of Ravnica or in like an outlying black region, a region of black mana, swampish area. So yeah, it always gives me kind of an abyssal feel to it, which was intentional. But yeah, the sky rails or the sky. The sky lanes of the arches and bridges, sky bridges, that was the word, that connect all the different towers. That was the idea that went behind that. And just to capstone that piece of the conversation, during the last 6 years that we've been using this, we realized that having only one color per spell was very limiting. So this is a pay what you want book, but this expands. This basically explains what the 5 colors are, what they kind of represent mechanically in the game, what type of damage types are associated with each color, and taking those aspects of game and mechanics of damage, you can combine them to create a matrix of a spell. Like Eldritch Blast does force damage, and force damage in this system is defined as white, blue, or red. Force damage is white, blue, or red. Psychic damage is white, blue, or black. Radiant is white only. Necrotic is black only, right? So when we look at, say, Eldritch Blast, which is a force effect, it's a cantrip, so it doesn't require any mana. But if you were to depict your character using Eldritch Blast, under normal use, you would either be reflecting as like white energy, blue energy, or red energy. You can get like color spray is blue because it's like illusion and mind magic stuff. Chromatic orb deals energy damage, and literally every type of energy is available, so you can cast it with any type. If you wanted to be really stickler about it, like if you wanted to do acid damage, then it would have to be blue. It would have to be black or green damage specifically. Or if you wanted to deal fire damage, it would have to be red mana specifically. But you can also have a looser system, a forgiving system, where it doesn't matter which color, just as long as you use one, you can say what kind of color mana it is. So like Compelled Duel forces people to interact with you and makes them focus on you, and it compels them to only attack you. So black is like compelling people, while red magic is like affecting their emotions and their aggression. So Compelled Duel fits really well in the black-red space. But you could also research a spell so that it's a different color. Like if you wanted Compelled Duel for you, like for your Azorius Synod character, maybe you want it to be white or even blue. Like it's an illusion that tricks them into attacking you instead of other people. Maybe you would want to describe that as blue, so you could research it to be a blue spell. So whenever you memorize it, it would be as blue magic. So, and there's a lot of different ways that you can tinker with mechanics about like how restrictive do you need to be, or how just like narrative versus crunch. So that's why I want to rebuild the books to go into those details. But yeah, that's where that illustration came from. And look at that album. Oh yeah, you're right. I totally need. God damn it, I forgot about that. Drop that down in my Discord if you don't mind. So it's on my book. It's on my book. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, what's up, Zona? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Zona. Fuck, I love color mana. It is such a shame that Wizards of the Coast wasn't interested in diving in this direction. I've sent them like 4 emails at this point. It's like, do you guys like want to look at this at least? Like, I'll do it myself. Just let me know you're interested. And they just never respond. So yeah, please do. Yeah. Absolutely. Please do. I want to see that book cover. I'm sorry. It was on my radar and just fell off because life is stupid. So, but I want to see it. Thank you. I might steal colors from it. So I definitely want to see it. Let's get back on task. So, but yeah, thanks for asking. I fucking loved. I love making that book. I just love killing. No, it's yeah, it was fun. Okay, so I think we're good with theater. You get the boon. We now have the points. If you roll a 30 and you're willing to spend 5 points, you can get all 5. If you only have 3 points available, but you rolled a 30, good for you. But you still only get 3 points. Duration. Let's see. Characters that participate gain a number of inspiration points equal to the difficulty rolled during the adventure. I don't think I need. Do I need a duration? That feels better. Each point of inspiration requires 1 resource that is recovered after the inspiration is spent. New performances replace any unspent inspiration points. Number of inspiration points equal to the difficulty rolled. Each point of inspiration requires 1 resource, requires investing 1 resource that is recovered after the inspiration is spent. There you go. Yeah, I think that'll work. That's good enough for now. So let's kick past that. What's next? Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. Appreciate it. I'll be here for probably another hour and a half if everything goes well. Training area. Empower and recruit. Let's see. Do we have anything about training area down here? I think I do. Training area. There we go. Let's see. Do we have anything about training area down here? I think I do. Let's see. Let's go up here and grab the language that we use. And here. And training area is empower and recruit. So those are the orders that we can improve the rank of by having a training area. When you get the training area, just pick one. Either empower or recruit, that improves by 1. And you can keep putting points into it, resources into those to continue to increase it. And you can just describe it as a more and more impressive training area. So empower, gain listed benefit for the rank of training facility sustained. Gain skills of tool proficiency, weapon armor, feat, saving throw. We have the meditation chamber that we've already established does similar. I can hear myself. I want to fix that. Hold on. That should be better for me. What are we seeing here? Meditation, 1 to 4, empower characters with additional benefits based on rank of the chamber. This is going to end up being a boon similar to the inspiration points. Pub, reliquary. Training. Let's do like that. Empower 1 to 5. Why do I have meditation? You drunk, Kearney. Fix your business, boy. Empower 1 to 5. Power 1 to 5. Empower characters with additional benefits based on the rank of the chamber. 1 benefit can be active per character at a time from the list below. Weapon, armor, or learn a language. Skill proficiency, learn weapon mastery, gain divine or arcane charms. Let's see. Gain 1 feat you qualify for, or gain expertise on 1 skill you're proficient with, and then gain proficiency in 1 saving throw. I'm pretty good with that. And let's grab each perk. Let's see. Each point, each boon requires investing 1 resource that is recovered at the end of the adventure. Is recovered when the characters return to the Bastion. New training replaces existing. Each boon requires. Each boon requires investing 1 resource that is recovered that can be released when you return to the facility. New training replaces existing. Each benefit, let's call them benefits. Yeah, we already have it called benefits. There you go. So if your team wants to become skilled in stealth, as long as you're 2nd rank, you can do it. It'll cost you 1 resource for each. Each benefit requires investing 1 resource. So your whole team can get stealth if you spend 1 resource, and they can keep it. But you would need to, if you want to replace that with something else, then you'll have to scrap the stealth and then train differently. Let's see. 1 benefit can be active per character at 1 time. Empower characters with additional benefits based on the rank of the chamber. Training time requires 1 week with an order from your an order issued to your Bastion. There. I think that works. It's good enough for now anyway. 1, 2, good. Oh, great, great. Give me a second. Oh man, that's good stuff. Oh my god, that house, dude! This stuff is like way up my house. This is all way up in my. Yeah, we resonate. This is very, very much my style. That's cool, man. This stuff is great. Thanks for sharing. This is neat. I'm familiar with Cannibal I'm familiar with Cannibal Corpse, but I've never listened to their music. I'm just tangent like aware of them. They're in my periphery. I'm aware that they're there, but I've never invested time in them. I will spend some me time taking a listen to them. Training area. So how does this look? Gain skill, weapon armor, learn a language. Weapon armor proficiency is higher rank. I think a skill. I don't know. What do we think? Is a skill? Is weapons, armors, and learning languages easier? Well, the weapon mastery, I think, is... Well, you have the weapon, and then you have the weapon mastery, so that makes sense. So, yeah, armor, weapon, learn a language, those all... Skill, tool, proficiency. There we go. Learn weapon mastery. So like the fighter could pick up thieves' tools, for instance, while the wizard maybe picks up like the tough feat to buff up some hit points. So whatever you need. If you're using the martial power system, obviously martial characters don't need this because you can just prepare feats daily, so that you can just do whatever. Like you can prepare Sentinel, Pam, Slasher, as you can just pick up those. You can just pick up those feats and use them and. Then when you finish a long rest, you can replace them with different things. So you don't need those, but the full casters don't have that benefit. So them being able to get access to feats at high levels is great. Gaining proficiency on a saving throw, that's fucking choice. The martial characters, for the most part, don't have to worry about maintaining concentration with the martial power system, but full casters always have to worry about concentration. So by the time you get the 17th level, being able to invest points to gain whatever your shittiest saving throw is, dumping proficiency into gaining that saving throw would make a lot of sense, because if you're using the attrition system with the color mana system appropriately, every encounter you're dinging them with at least one type of physical and one type of mental saving throw that they're having to contend with to potentially disrupt their concentration. In the martial powers playtesting that we're doing right now, we're focusing pretty much exclusively on martial characters, and none of them need to maintain concentration, so that hasn't been a real pressure. But if we start getting groups of 4 or 5 consistently, then we'll be able to start adding in full casters to support the martials that are running around, and then we'll be reintroducing the idea of attrition just to fatigue the full casters trying to like sustain haste for 3 hours or whatever. It's like, yeah, we're gonna ding you with something along the way. So I love that balancing act of the more power your character is wielding, the more fragile they become, because the DCs to hit the saving throws becomes more and more difficult because they have more mana stacked up. I love that. That is that and the command die for grouping activities in Spelljammer. I think those are probably the 2 best mechanics I've come up with yet. I'm really proud of those. They work so good. They're such an equalizer. Like, it's really hard to say. Like, you can say, yeah, wizards are ridiculously powerful, but they aren't more powerful than any other class that way, because you can just break them apart so much easier with that system. So fun. Anyway, I'll get the 2024 color mana system eventually. It still works as it is. I can see that I can do it better. I'll get there. Let's see. That was the training area. So now let's go look at the trophy room. Text, what's up? I mean, the music is one thing. The set is a different thing. All the music isn't for everyone. Fair enough. I'm a metal enthusiast. I like Sepultura and heavier metal. Not necessarily speed or death metal. I'm pretty good with. I respect Slayer, but I don't think I'd listen to it for 3 hours like I could listen to Sepultura for 3 hours. Let's see. Training area, trophy room. That's where we're at. Cat ass trophy. I don't know if any of you guys are Xanth enthusiasts. The novel series in the 80s and 90s from Pierce Anthony. But it was a magic. It was the setting was high fantasy in a world that was self-aware that it was all built off of puns. Like the entire fantasy world was built around puns. So there would be a catastrophe would be there would be an earthquake, and there would be on the mantle of the ruler of the kingdom would have a new trophy on his wall above his mantle, and it would be the picture of a cat's ass with its tail in the air. It's like, fuck, something's going wrong. There's a catastrophe I have a new catastrophe I have to contend with. And it would stay on the wall until the catastrophe was resolved, and then the trophy would go away. Stupid fucking pun. But there it was. There was a mountain range that separated the nation from the east from the west, and there was a single mountain pass that you can go through to. Otherwise, you had to go over these ridiculous mountains. But there was one pass that you go through, and it was called Faux Pas, Fauxpass. It was Faux Pass, and anyone that used it always ended up pissing everyone off around them. So if you wanted to be safe, you had to go through all by yourself so you didn't piss anyone off. But whenever you went through that pass, undoubtedly you would say something that would deeply offend everyone else around you, and everyone would do it to each other. So there was a high risk of infighting and breaking relationships if you went from the east to the west or west to the east by going through the faux pas. Stupid puns. But the entire world revolves around, it's like, we have to deal with the faux pas. How are we going to get our mule train past that? And it became a serious issue. Like, they had to contend with it because they knew it was coming for them. It was so ridiculous. Such a great world. So stupid. So stupid. Sorry, I had to share that. Is this also called a trophy room? God, get creative, guys. Trophy room. Increase recruiting and maintaining. Maintain, recruit. Let's see. Do we have something for trophies down here already? Trophy room. Legend, lore, monsters of items, people, and you can find a magic item. Those are the things that we can do with our trophy room. How do I want to do this? Increase rank and maintain and recruit. I don't know what we'd have, like boon equals free boon equals gain advantage to recruit soldiers and warrior sidekicks. There, that makes sense. I'm going to nudge my volume down a little bit. I can still hear myself, but I can't push YouTube down any further. There, that should still be, you guys should still be able to hear me okay, but I can't hear myself so good. Free boon, and let's see. I'm going to pull up the Oracle dice to play with this. If you don't know, for those that aren't familiar, the Oracle dice system that I use, the idea of an Oracle die is when you don't know the answer to the question, you shake a magic 8-ball, and it gives you an answer. A magic 8-ball, if you don't know, is a 20-sided die that's suspended in a sphere with a window. It has water inside of it. You shake it, and the die naturally bobs to the surface, and each face of the 20-sided die has a different message, which is one form or another of yes, no, maybe so. So there's like, I think there's 7 yeses, 7 nos, and 6 maybe so's of some sort. So instead, I use 2 6-sided dice. I roll 1 die to ask the question, and I roll another die to answer the question. The question is a yes or no question. And I frame it in the form of a yes question. So like for example, are there other boons that we could add to the trophy room? That becomes a yes or no question. If I roll a 1, if my answer die is equal to or higher than the question, the answer is yes. If the answer is a number lower than the question, the answer is no. If I roll a 1 on the question, it's guaranteed to be a yes because I can't roll below a 1. Then it just becomes a matter of how yes. On a scale of 1 to 6, how yes is that answer? If the question is a 6, it's almost impossible that the answer is true. But if the answer is also a 6, somehow, despite the impossibility of it, it's actually true. So figure that out. So then the DM's job becomes, how do I make these dice make sense? So when I roll my trophy dice, when I roll my trophy room, the question is there any more boons I can add? I got a 5 and a 6. So the question was, it's highly unlikely that there's another boon that we can offer in the trophy room. But I rolled a 6, so that means the answer is actually yes. So now I get to contend with that. I run entire campaigns off of that. So it's just a series of yes, no, maybe so's. Let's see, free boon. So we have another boon that kicks in. So 1 resource boon equals. Let's see. We have maintain. Recruiting came in for recruiting soldiers, so that works. 1 resource boon. Let's see. Is there something we can do to manipulate? I'll ask the dice. Should we be able to manipulate maintain with this? 5, 6 again. So the dice say yes. Yes, we should have a 1-point resource can allow us to manipulate our maintain check. Well, currently the only check that you make with maintain is to maintain a lifestyle for your guild, for your bastion, which is super critical. You have to maintain at least a poor lifestyle for your bastion. Otherwise, you failed a death saving throw. When your bastion has failed 3 death saving throws by rolling a maintain score below 10 3 times before you can roll 10 or above on your maintain score, your bastion goes bankrupt and it dissolves. If it's higher than first rank, it automatically loses resources so that it becomes the next lower rank. So if you had a 2nd rank facility and you go bankrupt, you'll become a 3 resource first rank facility. And like the other 8, like if you had 8 resources before that, you just got stripped of 5 resources, and it creates a rival because they're pissed off that you can't run business well. So now you have a rival organization or bastion in the region that will try to take things from you, try to win your business, try to cut off your trade supplies. It's going to try to sabotage you and steal your business. So it becomes a rival that your characters can then use as a leverage for missions to try to resolve. If we can knock down that rival, we can potentially pillage their resources and pull them back into our facility and rebuild ourselves back to the rank that we're supposed to be. Or they could be trying to tear away your resources, taking resources from you to tear your facility down and steal those resources for themselves so they can build themselves up. If your bastion goes completely bankrupt and utterly dissolves and you have nothing, you can go on adventures to get treasure that you can then spend to purchase resources to rebuild your bastion. So there you go. A lot of different ways to run the campaign, different mechanics that all can arrive at the same place. It's just a matter of how does the players and the DM specifically want to run it. If you're using this guide specifically to generate progressively generate adventures, then whenever something like that happens, that's your trigger to adventure. So there you go. Let's see. So the resource boon is involved with maintaining. Is one resource, does it allow, is it just a reroll? 1 and 2. Okay. 1 resource boon equals you gain advantage on maintain Lifestyle checks. Ooh, 1 plus. Lifestyle checks, spend 1 resource per rank of Bastion to work. So if I'm a 3rd rank Bastion and I botched my maintain roll, I can use this boon to spend. I'd have to spend 3 resources, but if I do, I can re-roll my. It would be re-rolling. So you can re-roll. Spend resources equal to rank to re-roll maintain lifestyle checks. There you go. Good enough for now. Dice told me to do it, so I did it. Famous last words. War Room. War Room. Increase the rank in 1 order. Maintain or recruit. Recruit 1 to 5. Recruit a warrior sidekick to command soldiers to act beyond the bastion without the character present. The level of the sidekick and DC to recruit is determined by the rank of the bastion. What's the minimum rank I need for a war room? I feel like it should be more than... I think it should be 2nd rank. Training area requires 2nd rank. Let's make war room require 2nd rank. No, we'll make it 5th. Requires 5th rank because you don't get it until 17th level in the DMG. And let's go to the training area. Yeah, it requires 2nd rank. Requires 5th rank. Increase rank in 1 order. Recruit 1 to 5 equals. Recruit a warrior sidekick. That can go on adventures. Oh, wait, there we go. That can command soldiers to act beyond the bastion without the characters present or to aid the characters on adventures. The sidekick's level can be equal to or less than the characters. The level of the sidekick in DC to recruit is determined. No, that should be... I don't want to make that 1st rank because you should be able to have a 1st rank sidekick if you want to. So let's remove that. Increase rank. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. And it doesn't have anything else beyond that in the DMG, so I don't think I need anything else beyond that, which means we've just finished our first pass of facilities. So that then means that we now get to start going through the document, looking for all the different types of things that we have laying around inside of here and start breaking them down. Like we have this block here of ideas that we had initially composed when we were still in our initial stages of ideation with how the game works. Craft, like tools of war, requires an armory or smithy. And you have to have the materials, the trade tools, the materials of mineral, plant, animal stuff needed to be able to create these things. Firearms or heavy armor. We set it at the DC 20. That would require a season to build. And note, +1 order to reduce the duration to 1 week from 1 season, for instance. This is now an antiquated system because we already have the crafting rules established further above. That standardizes all of the gear. If it's non-magical, like a great club is less than 100 gold pieces, so you only have to be 1st rank. So common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary, 1 to 5. So if it's up to 100 gold pieces, a 1st rank facility can create it without, if you hit the die, then no problem, you get it done. So virtually everything in the PHB is common except for like a pistol, for instance, is like 500 gold. So and a musket I think is 700 gold. No, a pistol is 200 gold and a musket's 500 gold. So up to 400 gold is uncommon. Up to 4,000 is rare. 40,000 is very rare. And then legendary is 200,000. So a musket costing 500 gold, you have to have a third rank facility to be able to create it, easily create it. Typically, right. If you're attempting to make something that's a higher rank than what your facilities are, you can still attempt to create it, but the complication if you have a complication, obviously you can't proceed with it further. But one of the complications could be you don't have someone skilled enough to do it. So like if your first rank facility attempts to make a musket, which is a third rank task, if you fail the die roll and the result of that die roll is you don't have the knowledge needed to make this musket correctly, your Bastion simply can't make it until you find somebody who can, which could be the players. The players will go back home and now, okay, great, I'll make it myself. Pay attention, and you start building it. Or you have to spend a recruit action, for instance, to go find someone who can make firearms and then bring them to your facility so you can hire them to build them for you specifically, which could be which unto itself could be a task. So you could then so you make the crafting check to make a musket, you fail the check. You make the die roll. Let's go look at our dice. Here's our checks. So you attempt to make a musket and you fail the die roll. Let's say you rolled a 4. Current hireling lacks the skill to produce the item. So as a recruit order, you can hire a specialist. That specialist is third rank. That's a DC 20. So now your first rank Bastion has to hit a DC 20 to recruit somebody. That's going to eat a second order. If you fail that roll, you're out of orders. And now it has to be something your players get involved with. You just can't recruit someone. So the consequence of that would be plot hook to convince the NPC to help craft in exchange for a quest. Like maybe the weaponsmith that you want got kidnapped by orcs that also want muskets. Or maybe I'd love to help you, but my daughter, she's sick. I can't leave her side. If only Pepe could walk again, I could go help you make your guns. That becomes your quest to heal them, for instance. It might be really easy to do that, but it becomes a point of interaction for you to delve deeper into the world, create connections, and since your characters are just your players to decide this is a mission we want to go on, obviously it's not going to be so easy as to, I cast Cure Wounds. The kid should be fine, right? No, it didn't work. What the deuce is going on? Oh my God, your child has some sort of weird ass curse on them. How'd that happen? Well, she went into the dark wood and she ate the purple apples. Like, why did she eat the purple apples? Said the fairy princess told her to. Crap. Let's go find the fairy princess and ask her about the purple apples, and that becomes your quest. And now you're delving into the Feywild. You're making interactions, potentially pissing off or allying with the fairy princess. You could potentially get access to apples that you could harvest to create malady poisons, or like you could brew poisons from it for like, I don't know, like some sort of like exhaustion poison or something, maybe. Like there's all these different things that you could pull from that one little adventure idea. Now it's like, oh, we can do all these things with our Bastion, and then we can start building ourselves in that direction. Well, now the Fey Kingdom's angry that you're manufacturing hidden Fey poison tricks with their purple apples, and they're angry that you're trying to grow purple apple orchards. So now you have a small army of pixies that are attacking your Bastion. Well, good thing we need to recruit some soldiers, so we're going to eat an order to recruit soldiers to help us fend off those pixies. And now we're having a pixie battle in our Bastion for this week's adventure, for instance. And that becomes your quest. Oh crap, they're actually pulling our whole Bastion into the Feywild. Now it's going to become an Eldraine campaign, because now you're having to deal with, Eldraine stuff. I think I need to trim my beard. I'm getting a little shaggy. Those are the ideas. So I'm going to take a hot second here just to relax. reset myself, check my clock. It's 3:30. I've got about an hour left. That's cool. If we find a natural, this could be a natural stopping point, but I want to play some more. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning around 9:30. That'll be 18 hours from now. So I'll be back on stream in 18 hours. It'll be my Saturday morning design brunch. And we will probably be back into the Martial Powers book. I want to start sweeping through all the subclasses again, since we've had more time spent in the Martial Power playtest with a ranger, some monks, warriors, and rogues. I think I just want to go through the list of options for the martial characters to make sure that the sensibilities that we're acquiring from the playtesting, the things that we have in there still feel like we're starting to get a good sense of like what's too powerful and what needs tweaking. So when I go through the list again, I should be able to refine things to be able to better balance them. So refine. We're done chiseling. We have the shape up. We have the shape of the statue from the marble. Right now, we're working on carving the details, and the polishing stage of the sculpture of the book is essentially when we get back from our editor and start doing layouts and artwork. That's where the polish comes from. So it's been rough hewn. It works. The base model is really effective. I'm really happy with it. But then as we continue digging through, I need to get back to the Spelljammer stuff because I want to play test the Vocath Battle Crab fleet battle. I never got to that. I started diving into Bastions before we started doing that, and it's calling to me. I can feel it's like, hey, that Vocath thing, it's pretty close to go. Why don't you jump after that? So I know that's going to be on my horizon soon. So I'm thinking we'll play test the Vocath Battle Crab combat situation for Light of Xeraxis. I suspect we're going to do that in July. That's what my gut's telling me. And my window's too closed. I'm starting to overheat. So there's a fine point between my window being open and closed. You know, it's like a difference between somewhere between 5 and 10% open will balance the amount of fire coming out of my fireplace right now. And while I'm at it, I think I want to refresh my fire extinguisher. Crackle. Okay, so let's see. I like these ideas. I think these basic complications work. I just burned my finger. These are basic complications, but I think I'm also going to want to have specific complications unique to each facility. I'm not there yet, but I feel like we can go there. I like that idea. I think, okay, so for now, let's just start consolidating. That's what we'll do. We'll consolidate data. So we'll want to create a Bastion tracking sheet. Facilities, we already have all of this resolved, so I can get rid of that. Arcane study, we have that. We already have all of this. Yeah, we picked up all this. So that's probably something I can just throw away altogether. I don't like deleting stuff though. So instead, let's just push this down. Scrap heap. Yeah, I burned my little Tootsie. Poor Tootsie. Give me a moment. I'm using Reiki to cast heal. The wound cries in pain, and Reiki allows you to hear it cry, and you can soothe and sympathize with it, which makes the pain reduce. It also gets rid of swelling. It's not like I can knit bone or like attach a severed arm or anything, but little burns and stuff, I can just blip them out. So there, it's been blipped. I am not a Reiki master because I've never activated Reiki power inside of somebody else. That's what you have to do to become a master. Yeah, but I'm good enough. I would say I'm a Reiki adept. Complications, Bastion events and complications. Settlements. Okay, I think this is the block that we want to be inside of. Bastion hireling count. I think that we have that listed already. Let's go up. Yeah, hireling count. There we go. So we already have that resolved. So I can erase that because it's already listed above. Don't have to worry about that. Your Bastion has a network of spies that can gather information faster than you can on your own. Reduce the time needed to gather information about one target by 1 degree of magnitude. And since we had started this, we realized that there was a month between seasons. So let's peel this out. And go back to our document here. And let's go to the guild hall. Your Bastion has a network of spies that can gather information faster than you can on your own. Reduce the time needed to gather information about one target by 1 degree of magnitude. That's not really how that's not how specialists work right now. But that doesn't have to be spy specifically. That's the way it's worded right now, but it doesn't have to be that way. What if we reimagine that? This is relevant for the DMsGuild, for the Demi plane, and I think we already have that established. So let's go look at the Demi plane real quick to make sure this is already here. Normal, blah 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 blah. Right. So we already have that resolved. So we can scrap that. Time to complete. Craft, empower, harvest. And instead, in our guild hall, you can invest up to 5 resources into each specialist, choosing which order each resource improves, matching the orders that are increased by the guild hall. A specialist's rank cannot exceed the rank of the Bastion. Each resource invested in a specialist increases the max rank order that can be issued to the facility assigned to the specialist without increasing the size or number of hirelings working there. You can invest multiple resources into multiple specialists, but the rank of the order cannot exceed the rank of the Bastion. To recruit a specialist, you can recruit multiple. You can invest multiple resources into multiple. You can recruit multiple specialists. Recruit multiple specialists, but only the highest rank affects Bastion checks. And we already established that yeah, there we go. That's much cleaner. So now that we have that, we can establish, we can go back to Garden, Guild Hall. There we are. Types of specialists. The Guild Hall attracts different types of specialists based on which orders have resources in your Guild Hall. Order. So it should actually be order first, and then examples of types of guilds that you can have with each order. That, I think, makes more sense. And instead, and we can have boon. We can have a 1+ resource boon equals your guild can complete orders more quickly than common hirelings can do so. Reduce the time needed to finish a crafting or a craft or empower order by 1 degree. Yeah, I think the proper way to do this is going to be let's do it this way. Order let's do it that way. We have craft, empower, harvest, maintain, recruit, research, and trade. What kind of specialists can we have for each of these? And is this the right way to do that? I guess we'll find out. Sage is obvious. Spy. Crafting can be bakers, brewers, masons, shipwrights. Artificers. hedge witch. That'd be a hedge mage, right? Hedge mage, artificers, priests. Yeah. This is where that subject matter expert stuff comes in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sage, spy. This would be experts as well. Recruit could be what? Any? I feel like this is going to be a bunch of experts. So be it. Expert would be a merchant, major domo, clerks, farmhands, gardeners. Hell, I don't know. Recruit, veteran, celebrity, noble. That's not the right word. Merchant for trade makes a lot of sense. Adventurers, veterans, celebrity, sage, spy, merchant, farmhands, gardeners, what's the word I'm looking for? Veterinarians. Animal handler. Prospector. Agriculturist. Something like that, maybe. Sidekick. Curmudgeon. Is that a real word? Apothecary. That would be for the empower, or would that be for harvest? Apothecary. That would be for the apothecary. Mortician for harvesting. Merchant, major domo, clerks, administrators. That's decent. I can get rid of gardeners. Oh, no kidding. Where would that fit? What else can we have for trade? Merchant, caravan. What else can you have for trade? Merchant, caravan. Diplomat? If I were to just have 3 each, adventurers, veterans, celebrity, that's kind of iffy. Merchant, caravans, diplomat, that's fine. Farmhand, animal handler. Where do you think mortician would fit best? Siege engineer. Oh yeah, that's not a bad one. For crafting, yeah. Let's go with craftsmen. This is a generic title. Craftsmen, masons, siege. I like siege engineers. H-I, siege. A-E-I. That's right. Cartographer. Would we put cartographer down in research, do you think? I know they make maps, but they also have to scout the region for the map, right? Cartographer. Scout. There you go. Farmhand. And okay, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Apparently 4 is the right answer. So we need 1 more for trade and 1 more for recruit. Let's see. Maybe galleon captain, something like that. What about research? Oracle. There. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's 5. Shit. Herbalist for trade. Not for sure, why not? Let's put it in for now. Ship captain. Ships. Yeah, ship captain. Wagon. Caravan. What's the word for somebody that oversees a caravan? Caravan. What's the word for somebody that oversees a caravan? What is it? Supply caravan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, now we're into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Thank you, Caravan Master. We'll let that sit for now. I think we'll probably find a balanced number. Porter. Would that be under maintaining? What is a porter? Let me look it up. Carrying luggage or other loads. I bet I'll be able to. Whatever. I can reduce down to 3 eventually. I think we're good. Recruit. Oh, I see. Cool. Let's switch gears and move. Oracle. The Bastion gains the benefit of legend lore or a commune spell every week. Legend, lore, or commune spell every week. Okay, let's take that up to orders. Okay, let's take that up to orders. And put that under research. Your research facility spends 1 week making a Bastion check to learn information about a current or historical creature, event, location, or object. At the end of the time, you gain the benefit of a commune spell. If the information being gathered is about a specific creature, if the result is less than its intelligence or wisdom score, the subject becomes aware. I like that. If you're spying on somebody, if the result that you have is lower than their intelligence or wisdom, whichever is higher, they become aware, and then they fight you over it. I love that. Creating magical plans. Your Bastion discovers the plans to create a magic item. What I have cut? Oh yeah, legend lore. Let's see. Gain benefit of legend lore for any object, any target object. You know what? Same. It's like 6 or half dozen. If the subject is order, is location, cache, being gathered, at the end of the time, you gain the benefit of a commune or legend legend lore spell, gaining a number of questions determined by the result of the check. DC. There you go. The information being gathered is about a specific. About a current creature, location, or if the subject order is a location or object. Right, there you go. About a living creature. About a present creature, contemporary creature. If the information being gathered is through directly observing the activities of a creature becomes aware of your order. If the target of the order is a location, a current location or object, a contemporary, a is a location or object being directly observed if the information gathered is through directly observing a location or object, creatures that have orders to protect the subject become aware of your gathering and respond based on their attitude towards the Bastion. Attitude, neutral or hostile. You have a complication. Hostile, the creature attempts to sabotage your Bastion. That makes sense so far. Now, these are orders that we're messing around with. So, recruiting, standing army. I want to say we already have barracks that allow us to gather a standing army. So, let's go down to our barracks. Poor, modest, moss, comfortable. Size. Roomy, vast, first, second, third. Okay. This is redundant, so I can get rid of it. We already have it mentioned up above. Bloop. What's between settlements and what else? We don't need these things anymore. Bastion events and complications. Let's just drop that down to another page to create a good buffer. Scrap heap. I feel like I want to cut out the scrap heap. Cut. To reduce complications for myself. File. Save as. Bastion Campaign scraps. There. What you got? Create a Bastion tracking sheet. Yo, yo. Applications, Bastion events. Settlements, it's its own thing. So we're just going to continue to let settlements sit. Recruit, specialist retainer. When you successfully recruit a specialist or a monster, you can invest a number of resources equal to that creature's rank to retain their services at your Bastion indefinitely. If the roll fails, a complication prevents recruiting the target creature. If you fail by 10 or more, or the creature is a higher rank than your Bastion, the creature attempts to sabotage it. If the creature is equal or lower rank than the guild, you can retain its services as detailed in the facilities below. You retain its services as a specialist or sidekick. So let's take that concept and let's go find. This would be a recruit action. So let's go up to recruiting, the recruit action. This would be a recruit action. So let's go up to recruiting, the recruit action. Yeah, okay. If your roll fails, if the roll is 10 by more, to fail by 10 or more. If you fail by 10 or more, or the creature is of a higher rank than your Bastion, the creature attempts to sabotage. The creature is equal or lower rank than the guild. You can retain its services. Right. So the idea here is like if the facilities that we have that are capable. Where is it? Right, tail end. Here, facilities. Okay, so that's the recruiting action of being able to fetch a creature or an NPC of some sort. Rank equals Bastion or less. DC equals potential threat or gain their services. All the places that you can research, that you can recruit through equals the barracks. Barracks as soldiers specifically. So the recruit action above is generally what you can do. So like, let's say in this instance, if we're looking at how that table works, right? See our monster. It could also be specialist rank monster, and then we also have the 1/4 CR low, like first rank or below stuff that you can have larger amounts of those, like the Bastion, the barracks allows us to stock up on soldiers, and the reliquary or the reliquary allows us to create undead, for instance. If we're creating, if the scale is, let's see, monster CR, the DC, let's see if we can do this correctly. Thank you, Timely Timer. Where are we at? Okay, I got another 20 minutes and we'll be done for the day. 1/4 CR total. And what were those numbers? 10, 40. 10, 40, 100, 400, 4,000. How about that? Yeah, see, that's kind of redundant. Like, you could have a barracks for troops, you could have a reliquary for troops, you have a guild hall for specialists, and you have a menagerie for monsters, and you have a war room for specialists. So you have those 5 different facilities. You could have one rank in each one of those facilities, and still have 5 ranks worth of recruiting in all, and be able to recruit any of those things. So I like that. So we could, like, for example, we could simplify the barracks to, you can perform the recruit action to gain a number of I guess it'd be a little bit redundant to have it here as well as in the actual recruiting action specifically up top, but it does help spell it out. So I think I'm okay with that. Maybe having like what you can do with the different orders up top, like all the different type of roles that you can make and affect things with, summarize in the orders up top, and then break apart into each facility to see how that order is used specifically in that facility, because the barracks, the menagerie, those are all different. I like that. And then maybe once we lock that down, we can further delve into the resource boons that we can have, perks or whatever we want to call them. I think that makes sense. Cool. Let's go on to the next bit. Where are we at? Right, here we are. Let's see, recruit. Governorship. Oh, yeah, governorship. You can assume responsibilities of an established community currently without leadership. And I don't need resources. I can just have the size of the settlement. So you can take over a community, but the damn Karens are going to break you down. You have to have enough administration in place to be able to ward off the Karens from attacking you socially while you're dealing with the actual, issuing orders. Goddamn Karens. They're always breaking things. So we'll put that, we'll group that under under recruiting. So we'll put that, we'll group that under recruiting. Let's see, the size of the rank of your bastion determines the size of community you can govern, requiring a number of resources equal to the rank of the settlement. What's the word? Hold on. I just derped out. Hamlet. Thank you. Hamlet. Well, there we go. Yeah, it had a purpose after all. A little redundant, but there it is. Governorship under recruiting. I think we originally had governorship under maintaining. I think we originally had governorship under maintaining. That's not a bad idea. I don't know. What do we think? Governing another? Yeah, I think maintain makes sense for that, and that gives us a second purpose for maintain. I kind of like that. So let's take that up to maintain. We got a lot of stuff going on for maintain up here, y'all. This is the primary purpose, Bastion lifestyle. And then governorship. The gaining resources, I think that's trade. That feels more like trade than maintain. Acquire materials, risky investments, gain resources. That might be the same as risky investments in the end. We might consolidate those things, but well, I'm starting to see we're starting to see a grouping, right? We're starting to see a grouping, right? Historical lore. I bet this is the primary thing. Historical lore is probably the primary research thing. What is it? Gather information. Magical plans. Your bastion discovers the plans to create a magic item. And then trade. One, two, three, four. Yeah, I think this is going to work out. Explain what a bastion is. Explain resources. Explain allocating resources to increase the rank of an order. Explain what an order can do. Explain how each facility uses the orders. And then explain complications and Bastion events. And then have the big list of items for empowering and crafting at the end. I think those are our five. I think those are our 5 sections. TOC. 1 is bastions, ranks, resources, value. 2 is orders. 3 is the 7 orders and what they do. 3 is facilities that can carry out orders issued. Chapter 4 then is Bastion events and complications. And then 5 is item lists. Production. Advertisements. There you go. Yeah, this is going to jive. So let's see. What's next? Recruit franchises. I feel like I can see. I think is franchise. I think that might be another example of maintaining. You maintain a lifestyle for your bastion. You're overseeing another. You oversee another bastion, a settlement. You establish a settlement. I guess governing and settlements, like governing a settlement might be the same thing as just simply investing resources into a settlement. They might not actually be different things. That's something worth considering. And then franchising is the same. It's just a bastion, but it's not necessarily a settlement. The only thing about a settlement is it's a plot of land in which your bastion takes actions. It's kind of a chicken or egg situation where is it the settlement first or is it the bastion does the settlement form around the bastion or does the bastion insert into a settlement? And the answer is yes, but it's different. Same thing with franchising. If we take over an existing bastion, we then have to spend governance points to retain control of it and deal with the Karens, or we could invest points to start a new bastion, whether it's in the same settlement or not. There's some snakes eating their own tails going on in here, but I don't feel like it's recruiting. I feel like recruiting is plenty covered with specialist monsters and armies. Like that's a bunch of shit to be dealing with already. So let's go back up here. Where are we? Yeah, that's all properly placed. Okay, let's go back to the tail end here. What else you got? What you got? Maintaining lifestyle. I think we already have that. Where are we at? Yeah, we're at the tail end. Efficient operations. You can issue an ordinance. Oh, ooh. Efficient operations. You can issue an additional order by spending points. That's like a meta use. It's an order nonetheless. And but does that get subsumed by governance? Like if you want to issue additional orders, you don't pump points into your bastion. You open up a new wing so you have more orders available. But I could see just being able to spend points. If you have recruit points, if you have resources open, technically you're not overclocking your facilities, which means you have space to do more stuff, which means you should be able to convert resources into additional orders. I think preliminarily I'm okay with that. And auctioning resources, that should be in trade. Yeah, that feels right. Diverse workforce. Choose an order. Your bastion gains proficiency or expertise in that order. Diverse workforce. Choose an order. Your bastion gains proficiency or expertise in that order. I don't think this has a place anymore. Expertise. I like the idea of expertise, but I also like the idea that's a work order sort of thing. Maybe. This is a facility space issue. Yeah, that's what's going on here. And maintain the efficient operations, you can issue an additional order. These are facility issues. So if I have an efficient crafting space, I can issue additional orders that are crafting specifically. And if I have a diverse workforce in my crafting area, my crafting space, then I can potentially give expertise to, say, one crafting order. I think that's a good way of playing that. So let's remove it from being an order because it's a boon. These aren't things that you roll on. These are just things that can happen. So those are feat/boon type ideas. And that belongs, in how you structure your facilities. That's where this is happening. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. Lifestyle. You can invest resources to sustain the lifestyle of your bastion for an extended period of time without having to check each week. The maximum time you can sustain this lifestyle without having to roll again, without having to roll is listed for the level, for the rank of lifestyle. so old, it was when we were still calling them levels. Rank of lifestyle currently sustained. Modest, frequency. It's not the lifestyle that determines it. You can invest resources to sustain the lifestyle of your Bastion for an extended period of time without having to check again. The maximum time you can sustain the lifestyle without having to roll again is listed for the rank of Bastion. For the rank of the Bastion being maintained. Rank, frequency, resources. Shut that down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rank 1 is going to be, let's say, a month. Month, season, year. There. That makes sense. There. And we can peel that out, and maintain. This actually makes sense. Having this in maintain. It's kind of a meta resource sort of idea, though. Trade. Maintain gets another square. At least we're grouping them all together. That's good. Harvest, we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about empower anymore. Specialist sidekick. Your Bastion attracts adventurers seeking patrons. You gain a sidekick. We already have this listed out up above, so let's just verify patron, recruit. One to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, 17 plus. Empower, demi-plane. We already have demi-plane resolved. I think this is all taken care of. Okay, you see that? We only have like 1, 2, 3 more things to sort out, and then this entire block of redundancy is resolved. So I'm going to take care of that, and then I'm going to call it a day. So like maybe another 5 minutes, and we'll bounce out of here. So let's go back and look at our demi-plane. Because time manipulation is definitely not a general thing. It's definitely a specific one. Okay, so that's all done. Create an extra. No, yeah, we don't need this anymore. We've already resolved that. So cool. Craft storehouse. You maintain inventory of material gained. We already have storehouse set up. Let's go back and revisit real quick to see if there's any hidden gems that we've missed before we let it go. Thank you. Yeah, okay, we have that covered. Extra little pinch of redundancy there. Craft is done and out of the way. This is done and out of the way. You know, I'm going to cut that out and drop it down here for reference. And then what we have left. In addition to carrying out orders, Bastions can expend resources to maintain facilities that offer ongoing renewable benefits to the Bastion hirings of characters. Each facility has prerequisites that must be met before a facility can be maintained. Bastion must be a listed rank. Bastion must have... nope, it doesn't do that anymore. And a Bastion must expend the listed number of resources. Nope, don't have that anymore. I'm going to cut that. Settlements. And then let's jump back up to here. And what were we looking at? Oh, yeah, facilities. Facility orders and boons. Facilities, orders, and boons. I guess we just call it facilities. No, facility orders and boons. That makes sense. There. Then that wording looks good there. Ha. Settlements. Bastion events and complications. Oh, then I guess that means at the front end of this, we want to have another section. Bastion events and complications. 5 will be franchises and settlements. And then the item list, and then advertising. There you go. So that's our structure. And what are we down to? How many words? How many pages? We're down to 36 pages so far. So this will probably end up being like a 55 to 60 page book when we're done, I reckon. Still got a lot of empowerment stuff going on, so I bet we can get rid of a lot of these redundancies and bring empowerment down to something a lot more reasonable. I think that's just going to take time for us just to curate it. If I can get everything down to, what, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I can get all of them down to 9, that would be ideal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 would be ideal. I bet there's some redundancy. There's definitely some redundancy we can get rid of in power. I bet we can reduce the amount of crafting. I bet we can get these all at 9 apiece. I bet we can. Okay, so let's just workflow through it real quick just before I sign off for the day. Bastion Campaigns, table of contents, the Bastions structure themselves, the orders that you can issue to your Bastions. Here they are. Gagada, dagada, dagada, dagada. And then we'll end up putting the PHB gear list. Cut. Items, and then Bastion tracking sheet. Orders. We'll figure out how to structure these orders properly. Recruiting, different actions, researching. So there's researching present day stuff and then past stuff. I like those degrees of separation, and I think we can work with that. Trade is basically getting stuff. And then we have facilities. We have size of facilities. So we still have to work out spaces, shared spaces. I'm thinking maybe maintain doesn't need its own facility, like it doesn't need its own space. We'll have to figure that out, but I bet we don't need to have specific space set to me. Oh no, maybe we do, because you do need to have administrative space, toilets, kitchens, bedrooms, just common rooms, living rooms, just unwinding area. These things make sense to me. Maybe we'll end up moving the meditation chamber to maintain. If we restructure everything by what spaces would they fit with together, I bet we'll be able to tweak some of that stuff, but I bet that makes sense. So so you have your Bastion, and then you'll have to have a minimum amount of space to be able to properly perform the actions, the orders that you issue to your Bastion. And then maintain, you can have separate rooms and all these spaces can be interconnected with each other. They can be separated or adjacent to each other. But I'm thinking for example, for a fifth rank Bastion, for you to have 5 ranks in resources, 5 resources devoted to maintain, for instance, it has to be 36 or more squares. But that could also include hallways that connect different order spaces. Like if we specialize in research and empowering, and we're still going to have maintain someplace, otherwise we're just rolling a d20 plus 5, and that sucks. So you want to have facilities dedicated to maintaining, and that expands the area that you need to do for maintain itself. So, and that can just be a 100-foot hallway that has research and empowering at one end of each other, and you have kitchens and stuff in the middle. So that kind of makes sense. The DMG was talking about how there's facilities that are special rooms that do things, and then there's just space. Bedrooms, crap like that, nothing special. It's just part of the living space. That actually makes a lot of sense if we're organizing things spatially. I kind of like that. Let's consider just making a note about that before I forget about it. Each order has a separate space that related facilities can occupy together. Maintain order has no special facilities unto itself, but each resource invested into maintain adds the total space of non-facilities needed. That doesn't make that's horrible wording, but that's the idea. So the facilities group things together, but maintain specifically doesn't group anything together. It's the space in between that maintains the entire structure. I like that. And these are all minimum sizes, not maximum. So you can always just continue to sprawl as long as you have a space large enough to maintain it. And the lifestyle is what is maintaining things. So that works. That actually works. Okay. That's where we're at for today. So I think when we come back, we're going to start. The next step in the process is going to be standardizing, or rather simplifying and resolving what these orders are and how are we going to properly structure them. Yeah, that's going to make sense. So once we properly codify what each order is capable of doing, then we can take each facility and whatever orders those facilities are able to be issued, then we can start seeing how each facility modifies those orders. So we'll have the commonality of like, here's generally how orders work. And then we go into each individual facility and say, here's how this facility specifically uses that order. And then once we go through that process, then we can go, now that we've gone through all that process, here's the specific boons that each facility can grant to your Bastion or characters by investing additional resources beyond the minimum to simply have the facility be present. And I think we'll probably figure out how to, like, it could be like I put 5 points into my workshop, I get 5 points worth of crafting into it, and maybe that means I get boons with it. We'll see how the action economy needs to be broken up amongst those things. Yep. Oh man, sleepy Phil is sleepy. This is a good session. All right, so we're done. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at probably around 9:30 a.m. Seattle time, Pacific time. That's going to be in 17 hours. I think we're going to play in the Martial Power System for a while instead, just to make sure everything's grooving there. We'll play with that for a few hours, and then I'll be gone for the day. I'll be back Monday morning to continue Eberron art. I have Monday off. And I don't necessarily know what book we're going to work on when we come back. I know we're doing artwork in the morning, but during our lunch jam at 1:30 till 5, I don't necessarily know what we're going to work on. I think I'll know by the end of the weekend. But yeah, we'll work on something at lunchtime. And then we have the Martial Powers playtest on my Discord channel Monday night at 5:30 p.m. PST till 9 p.m., which is 8:30 till midnight East Coast, if you can handle it. Tuesday, I have off. We'll work on Eberron in the morning, and I don't know what kind of book we're going to work on in the afternoon. And then I'll be back to my normal work schedule on Wednesday plus. I'll do Eberron art Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. I have my co-workers D&D game on Wednesday lunch, so I'll be absent. So Wednesday will be the only, morning will be the only stream I have. And then Thursday morning we'll do more Eberron art. Thursday night we'll work on probably this. And then Friday morning, Eberron art. Friday lunchtime, probably this. And then Saturday again next week, we'll work on whatever we work on. And then we'll just continue on with our weeks. I don't think I'm going to have any vacation off time after this week. I don't think we're going to have any more until probably May. So, all right. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. Anyone else that thinks this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, bell icon, blah, blah. Jump in my Discord. Check out my books down below. If you think they're cool, consider purchasing them to encourage more behavior like this. And y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.